Hello, BookTube. The other day, I went to the Brattle bookshop, and as those of you who follow my sexy Instagram will know, I met Hannah there of Hannah's Books. And I got a lot of comments from a lot of you saying, oh my god, it's my two favorite booktubers together. Oh my god, I love Hannah's channel. And quite a few people asked, well, if you met at the Brattle, then that means inevitably there will be a Brattle Book Haul video in which you appear together. And it's been a bit of a delay, but I thought I should give the people what they want. Ooh, ooh.
Hi, BookTube.
There goes the neighborhood. You've changed your headscarf.
Do you like what I do with my hair? Yeah.
Those of you who haven't watched BookTube in the last year, this is David Murphy. He's visiting Boston. He makes a BookTube video a year, and we went to the Brattle bookshop, and we've got books to show you, just like last time. You're going to have to pardon any interruptions from off stage. The Bean has been in extra diva mode. Whenever she has guests, whenever she has people to batten onto, she gets into extra diva mode. Do you want to go up on your seat, baby? Or are you just going to stand there staring? Come here. Oh, baby,
Okay.
That's not going to work. He's going to have to put books there. Oh, goodness gracious.
We'll figure it out.
Well, anyway, you should start us off, because once again, just like last time,
Okay.
he has more books than I do.
These are in no particular order.
Oh, my
this,
God.
Yeah, this I was surprised to
Oh,
see.
my God.
So this is Liberty of the Modern State by Harold Laski. Harold Laski, I think he was chairman of the Labor Party for a few years. He was an economist. I knew him as an economist before I knew him as that. Of course I did. I think I was in the 40s. And this is, again, Liberty in the Modern State. I haven't gone to this in a very long time. I haven't read Lasky in an extremely
This is
long
one of
time.
his books.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
only
yeah.
know him from
And
that
this
2-volume
is-
Lasky Holmes letters collection.
Oh,
That's
really?
the only one I know him. Is from that.
Oh, okay. I haven't read those. I've only read his econ stuff, obviously. And this is him mostly dealing with the political problem of freedom and security and trying to make them compatible. As I remember, it was pretty muddled. In fact, most of what I've read when it comes to him doing more theoretical stuff, I wasn't all that impressed with it. And I think it came from an indecision of where he wanted to go in terms of very almost libertarian in terms of his views of freedom, as in more defensive of security, and then he just split the difference and never really could
I'll
commit
have to
one way or
grab
the
you
other.
the Holmes Lasky letters. The 2-volume set shows up all the time. It
Oh,
was so
okay.
popular it even had a paperback reprint.
Yeah, no, that's happy
And
to see this. Yeah.
he doesn't come off well in those letters at all. So what is your estimate of him? Is he a bit of a...
I don't think much of him as a thinker, no.
Let's do another one of yours.
Oh.
You've got a bunch to go
Okay,
through.
then the
Look at all
next
these
one is
tomes.
Mansur Olson, The Rise and Decline of Nations.
He goes through the same sale as I do, but he David Murphys it up.
Yeah, of course. And this is one I grabbed. It had some penciling in it, but it's not too bad and nothing I can't remove. There was somebody there who definitely had my obscure taste in political books, but they had written in a lot of them, so I did leave some things out there, unfortunately. This
Hold
is
it
an
up again.
outgrowth.
What's
Yeah,
this
I'm
thing?
sorry. Not that anybody's actually going to be interested in it. This is an outgrowth of his the prior book to this, which, if I remember right, it's been so long since I've gone to it, is The Logic of Collective Action. Mansur Olson is famous for quite a few things, but I would say when it comes to academic economics, that's at the top, and it deals with the free rider problem and collective action and incentives. I think I'm going to send people to sleep if I get into detail about it, but it is quite interesting to some of us, okay? So I was very happy to find this, because I don't have any Mansur Olson at home. And if you read political economy, whether it's the intersection of law and economics or anything like that, Mansur Olson will crop up a few times, and if not in the text, in the footnotes, certainly. He's all over the place, so if you're interested in that sort of thing, you have to get to him eventually. He's one of those thinkers on the right. He reminds me of who did The Great Transformation? Polanyi, Karl Polanyi. It's one of those classic authors. He'd be somebody on the left who's in the same tradition, who people don't seem to read anymore. But when you read those works of political economy, and academics know that they have to go through them. They can't write about those subjects without deep grappling with their work. He's sort of one of those people in this area. I need to stop talking.
What's your excuse? They have to plow through these books. You're the one reading them voluntarily. There's something wrong with you.
Yeah, that's true. Outside of the obvious, too.
Well, I've got a big fat Roman historical novel.
Oh, that's better.
Fortune's Favorites by Colleen McCullough. Now, I have all of these on ebook, but the first three of these had these wonderful step backs, and I found First Man in Rome, and then I found The Grass Crown. This is the last one that did it, and it was there, and these were all free, so I just grabbed it. This is, I believe, the story. This starts to center on this starts to center on Gaius Julius Caesar. The first book is about Marius, the second book is about Sulla, and then the third book is a little boy Julius Caesar who is growing up to excel them both. I have the ebooks. I can't really imagine these. This is the form that I bought these in when they were coming out. So I don't know that how quickly I would read a print book, but but anyway, at least it's not economic theory.
What sounds way more exciting than that? What are you talking about?
Oh, look at this!
Yeah, I think this was yours.
Yes.
Yeah, Munich,
yes,
The Price of Peace by Telford Taylor. I have this in ebook form, actually, so I don't need this, but I sort of want it. I have a World War II bookcase at home, and I don't think I have anything on Munich right now, so I want to fill that spot. Although this is on my mind because I just saw... I need to do this more than 3 seconds. Because I just saw that god-awful Netflix movie on Munich. Have you seen that yet? It's been out for a little while now. I don't know if it goes off the same title as this, but there's a Netflix movie on Munich. Yeah. Maybe somebody watching will remember exactly what it's called. Nobody I know, but I don't know pop culture or anything like that. But I thought it was a snooze fest. And then one thing that always bothers me about movies...
What, it was just a dramatization of...
Yeah, but I just wanted to fall asleep 3/4 into it. I hardly finished it.
So it was just a courtroom drama?
Yeah, just like a political drama. But I don't know. It was really frustrating to watch. And I think I get distracted easily because, they have Berlin in the 30s, but then there's like way too many cars. or the SS uniforms are all in black when they didn't switch till the 40s. And I just get hung up on stupid things like that, too.
I only know of 2 movies. The famous one, Judgment at Nuremberg, and then there was...
Oh, God, I love that movie so much.
It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's so good.
The only other one I know is Alec Baldwin.
No, this came out like last year, I think.
Oh, wow. Oh,
yeah.
I missed it completely. And it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I did hear a lot of people who liked it. It did anything for me. Yeah.
We'll probably watch some clips from Judgment at Nuremberg, or maybe the whole movie. During one of our wine-soaked evenings here. Although, Judgment at Nuremberg without John Wayne?
Yeah, we'll start with John Wayne and see if we get time for Judgment at Nuremberg.
Just so you know where the artistic priorities are. Do you want to do another one?
Yeah, sure, I guess. And then the next one, yes, this is Stalin and Hitler, Parallel Lives by Alan Bullock. And this is one of these books that I do like, actually. Sometimes this one's not perfect either, but this, like I said, I'd call it a gimmick. It's a little bit too easy to do, and authors tend toward moral equivalency. And so I've read a few of these sorts of books, and then I sort of wrote them off. So I hold it up a little longer. But this is one that I like. So if you've been thinking about it, go for it. But I haven't read Lawrence Reese's, because that's the most recent one, isn't it? Who does this? Did you like that?
How big
one?
That thing is, though. Jeez, Louise. He gets huge books that he has to get back.
Yeah.
Back home.
Yeah. I got, 4 left?
Well, my next one is also huge. It's one of these Avenel anthology volumes, although this is UK. Yes, Octopus Heinemann. We saw one of when these were done in America, they were done by Avenel. And this is Helen McInnes, her espionage novels. This is Salisbury Connection, Assignment in Brittany, Double Image, and Agent in Place. She wrote a ton of these things. She was the wife of the classicist Gilbert Hyatt. And these, I don't understand why. There's our author right there. I don't understand. I have one of these as a paperback, for the book on Venice, and I don't have any of the others. I don't have any ebooks of these, and I don't understand why the literary reassessments have passed her by. I really don't get that. She was writing really good, meaty, atmospheric, intelligent thriller novels at a time when that genre was entirely dominated by men. It has remained mostly entirely dominated by men. You'd think that would get her more attention than she gets. The one that I'm going to start with, I think one of her most famous ones is Agent in Place, so I will start with this. But I had good luck with the last anthology like this that I got. The last one that I showed you here was Dashiell Hammett. And it's the same kind of thing, the same publishing deal. I had good luck with that. I read a couple of novels in that and really enjoyed it. So I got an anthology. It's not a shelf full of Helen McGinnis. Instead, it's just a nice, handy collection of books.
When was she writing?
Mid-century, mid-20th century. I swear, I have said this so many times. There is a book out there, a runaway bestseller out there that one of you could write about the women in the Republic of Letters in the mid-20th century. The historians, the popular biographers, the thriller writers, the novelists, the translators, the people in power at Penguin and other publishers. This is the age of these people. You look around the landscape, and it's these women doing incredible work, and they're scattered to the winds. Whereas it would be much more predictable to do a book like that about the male intellectual society, the literary societies of men at that time period. Books have been written on that subject. I've never read a book that links, the grand poobah of children's publishing, of children's classics, or the grand poobah at Penguin Classics, or some of the greatest translators of Russian literature and other literature, a thriller writer, really popular literary fiction authors. Anyway, it's mid-20th century. It's my long answer.
Wouldn't someone in industry almost have to write that? I don't know.
The materials are out there, and you're starting to see these kind of group-themed feminist history biographies. One or two turn up every year, but there is a massive one. The phenomenon is much bigger than the little keyhole histories that have been done about it, good as they are. The phenomenon is much bigger. It was a literary landscape. The more you look at it, the more you realize that the really prominent names that the Mailers and the Updikes and the Roths and the Bellows and whatnot, are minor footnotes compared to what was being done by women at the same time. Anyway.
Did they all know each other in the same way?
Well, that would be the tempting thing to say. I worry that would be unintentionally, that would be the most sexist thing to say here, is that they must all have known each other. And in some sort of coffee club where they all got together.
Well, that makes it easy to write a book, right?
It would. Yes, it would, but I don't know.
And
I don't
that's
have
why
any
you
idea
get so many about, I was going to say Jane Austen, but who am I thinking of? That doesn't matter. But when you get a clique of people who know each other, the book almost writes itself.
Right.
Is what I'm
I
saying.
don't know that's true.
Yeah.
You've got people like
Virginia Woolf. That's who I'm thinking of. That whole group.
Bloomsbury.
Thank you. Yes.
Well, you've got great translators. You've got Ursula Nordstrom at doing kids books. You've got powerful agents, powerful publishers, dramatists, historians, people. The bigger names, the male names, get all of the notice, while Antonia Fraser's Mary Queen of Scots is outselling them all 10-1. And there's a book to be written. I don't know if it has been written, but anyway. Oh, look at this! This was mine as well.
Enough fiction talk. Yeah, this is the Victorian century, the United Kingdom, 1800 to 1906.
It's such a good book.
I know. I wanted to get this so badly when it came out, and I just didn't. So I was happy to see it. Of course, I like this time period because Industrial Revolution, so I'll be curious about that. And then I'm going to be interested in what they'll do with intellectual thought.
Does it ever happen?
I have no idea.
Kennedy's a terrific historian, but he's not an economics expert. Does it ever happen that you'll be going through a book like this, or Hitler and Stalin, enjoying the company of a really good historian, and then you'll just sort of, your keel will run aground when they start to talk about stuff they don't know about?
A lot of historians know that they don't know anything about economics, so they're pretty good about it. Yeah.
So what do they do about it? They can't ignore it.
Well, you could tell sometimes that they've asked economists.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah.
And sometimes when I look into it, they have. But otherwise, they sort of tiptoe around it, or they keep their statements as general and anodyne as possible. Yeah. It's pretty obvious when you get to it that they don't know. But there are some who are opinionated enough to just jump into it, and that can grate sometimes. And I don't need to agree with it, I should say. You can talk about economics in a potential way, and I can disagree with you. But sometimes, if you're just talking about, talking about data in a way that doesn't make any sense, I can't help you
it must be troubling not to know everything. I often think about that. How other people must deal with that. Anyway, I got an American Revolution book by George Otto Trevelyan of the famous traveling the famous traveling Wolandas, the famous traveling Trevelyans. This was a huge whole shelf full. He did a gigantic multi-volume work on the American Revolution, but then he did a one-volume recension, and I haven't read it in. I almost want to say I haven't read it since it first came out. No. Okay, with the recension. Okay, this thing came out in 1964. And I think I had my first exposure to this one volume thing was during the bicentennial, 1976. So who knows how much of the scholarship has marched right on past Trevelyan. I don't think I'll be reading it for that. He's a quotable, epigrammatic type historian, so I'll probably just read it for that instead. Oh, look at this!
Oh, yes,
oh,
this is
my
Kipling.
God. Oh, that's beautiful.
Yes, a selection of his stories and poems. And I found this, two or three of you.
Oh, look at that. Look at how lovely this is. I saw a copy of this at the Brattle once, but it was torn to pieces. This has the plastic covering on it and everything.
Okay, thanks, Vanna White. So I did find this at a used bookstore by me, but it had a sticker on it, and when I took it off, just the price tag, it tore it. And this is one volume. I think the second volume has, roughly the similar artwork, but it's more of a blue color, if I remember correctly. So I want to find that now too. I don't need this. I have the big Everyman library. I have some other Kipling, but this is just a cover buy. I love this so much. And then it continues on when you.
Look at this.
When you open it on the inside.
Oh, look at that. Oh.
Yes, and I love Kipling so much, so I don't mind having this take up a little more space. So thrilled to find this. I was really hoping I'd find the second volume, but one of these days.
Well, I'll keep an eye out for it.
Yeah,
the person who jumped that probably had the second one as well. And it might be in a dust jacket. That would be great.
Mm-hmm.
I found a really cheap copy of Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain's book, The Passing of the Armies. I've never seen this trade paperback before. I've read this a couple of times. I always reflexively think of this book when I hear historian bloviators or also George Will, just routinely reflecting that Grant's memoirs are the best book that's ever come out, that was ever written by a participant in the American Civil War. And I always think of this book because this is eloquent and understated and also oddly funny at times. This is a delightful Civil War memoir that I haven't had it forever. I didn't know this trade paperback existed, so I grabbed it. It'd be nice if somewhere down the line, Penguin or Library of America or somebody paid attention to other Civil War memoirs other than Grant and Sherman. That would be great, but I'll take what I can get.
Who was the author who wrote ghost stories after the Civil War? I don't know. I know it's pretty thin to go off of. Or kind of, I don't know if you knew Edgar Allan Poe or worked in that tradition. I'm trying to think of it.
Ghost stories.
Yeah,
after
ghost
the Civil
stories.
War.
Yeah, I didn't get memoirs, but one of the few literary figures who I think fought in the Civil War, wasn't, behind the lines. Oh, it is going to bug me. I'll think of it when we turn off the camera. I remember years ago, Andrew Ferguson wrote a piece on him in the Weekly Standard.
What?
Yeah.
All right, well, I'm drawing a blank.
Yeah, okay. I did something completely different anyhow. This I actually did find last time I was here, like a month ago, but it was in paperback, and I wanted hardcover, now I do. This is an absolute classic. The War Against the Jews.
You found a little mass market paperback of this. Well,
33 to 45. This, I guess I would say, if you have a shelf of Holocaust books, you maybe shouldn't. But if you do, this ought to be one on it. It's
you found that in the outside sale lot?
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
The Brattle has a whole shelf on the Holocaust.
Yeah, I saw a couple there I wanted, but I didn't get anything from inside this time. I lost my train of thought. Oh, yes, it's very analytical, and it's analytical without getting theoretical or overly abstract. I think sometimes there's a tendency to want to do that with the Holocaust, and this book doesn't do it. And then also it picks up steam, and it gets angrier as it goes, as I remember. It's been a while since I've read it, but
I don't think I've ever read the hardcover.
Glad to have it. Yeah,
That
I've never
mass
seen the
market paperback
hardcover.
did really well.
Yeah,
For,
this is another one that
is it Holt Reinhardt?
Oh,
yeah,
yeah,
that mass market, the little paperback that he showed you last time. We'll see if I can remember to leave a link to the last Brattle haul. But that little paperback did real good business for them. That sold like crazy.
Yeah. So, yeah. Do you have one left?
I do. This is my purchase
Okay.
from inside the shop. I found when I found the Passing of the Armies, I went looking for this because I had a copy of this. I followed this before on this channel, but I sent it away to one of you years ago. This is Alice Rain's Truelock, and this is In the Hands of Providence. This is her book about Joshua Lawrence Chamberlain, and it's really good. It's really, really good. There are two books like this, In the Hands of Providence and The Blue-Eyed Child of Fortune. And when I saw the Passing of the Armies, when I knew I was going to get that, I knew I was going to want this. I knew that when I reread Passing of the Armies, I'll probably read that this week or next week. And when I reread it, I knew that I was going to want this, so I went looking for it. And it turns out that somebody filled this with clippings. So I get more than just the book. I'll just have to hope that I don't just immediately send this away. This is a book that I would like to keep. But anyway, that was it for me.
I've taken to doing that, adding clippings to my books. It's fun. It's weirdly fun. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. It adds. It is weirdly fun. You should try it.
Well, and it makes me want to keep up with new releases and new magazines more and more. So I actually went on my way to go to Barnes & Noble, and I just went through all the magazines to see what reviews were in them, because I had lots of new releases. So I wanted to read them, stuff them in there, write what I thought. I don't know. But the last one...
from the Civil War.
No, yeah, we're going to say, no, this is the Wilderness Campaign, the meaning of Grant and Lee. And I probably would have noticed this, but years and years ago, you brought this up on your channel.
That book?
Though this book, but I think it had a green cover to it or something. And then my brother read this, and he really loved it, and
That's true.
I never did.
And the Wilderness Campaign itself is fascinating.
I think the point you kind of honed in when you talked about it was where it says, most of all, the Wilderness Campaign is a story of determination. Lee felt a visceral devotion to Virginia and would not yield an inch of it without bitter contest. His resistance in the wilderness against almost overwhelming odds presents an unprecedented study of his leadership. And I think that, again, like that's what you mentioned, it isn't reflexive praise for Lee as a great general. Or at least that's not what comes through in here. It's my understanding.
But you don't have many books on the American
I
Civil War,
don't.
do you? No.
I don't. I mean, people like to say everyone picks something. You pick the Civil War, you pick World War II, and I guess I did that, but I want to shake out of that and start reading more.
Well, it's a
Civil
good way
War.
to start. It's certainly a good way to build the feet, your ground under your feet is to pick a person, an era,
a battle,
something like that, and build outward from there.
And this is early on. So
but what does this join? What other Civil War books are waiting back at home?
Oh, I think there's two. There's actually two. There's one on river battles on the Mississippi, and then another one.
So no big books.
No.
Shelby Foote,
I
no
now
Bruce
have
Catton.
3. No, I see Shelby Foote at every darn used bookstore I go to. I don't grab it. I don't know what to think of it. It just seems like a big place to start. I think I'd rather start on like I said, a battle or a person. And those are pretty old now, aren't they? Shelby Foote, when were those published?
And Bruce Catton's even older.
And my understanding
there was
is the
tons of
Shelby
Bruce Catton in
Foote
the Sailor.
prose are a little. I've heard it's dry. Is that true?
It's awful rococo.
Is it?
It's very much. I mean, the mythology, the story that you always hear about his 3-volume Civil War history is that he wrote it in longhand with a fountain pen on paper, endlessly over, with candle flickering at the desk and whatnot, and it very much reads that way. Very much. So if you want that, there is a way in which that kind of prose is immersive. It doesn't usually do it for me, but if you want that, you're going to get an endless stream of that in his 3 volumes. If you don't want it, it's going to fry your last good nerve because it just goes on and on. It's very much the country gentleman leisurely writing history. It's Washington Irving writing 6 volumes.
I love Irving.
Or something like that.
So I might, yeah.
But there was a lot of Bruce Catton in the sale lot. I noticed. I
noticed
cleaned
that
them out
too. Yeah,
there was a ton.
Yeah,
I'll have to get some and mail it to you. But that's
I just need to do it, but then I get a new World War II book or econ book, and I just want to
yeah,
get
those
into
are
it.
two of your concentrations.
Yeah.
Yes, econ and World War
Yeah,
II.
and I don't feel bad like having read as much as I have into those things, but I do feel bad not having read into other things maybe as much as I could. I wouldn't sacrifice what I've read.
Well, that was me. That was the Civil War and the American Revolution, and then fiction, which you hardly ever give the time to take.
I can do without it. Yeah.
So
Kipling,
there you go.
I had Kipling. Those stories.
A Brattle Hall there. We have Hands of Providence, Passing the Armies, a Tory history of the American Revolution, some MI6 thrillers by Helen McGinnis, and the third book in Colleen McCullough's Roman series that went on for 10 books or so. So there you go.
I'm not doing that.
No. that's a Brattle book haul for you. If we do more hauling, we'll do more videos.
We should do more videos either way.
We should.
Yeah,
Let's
we
do
were
a video
bad about
tomorrow.
that last time. Yeah. Or tonight after 3 or 4 glasses.
Or tonight after 3 or 4 glasses of wine. The wine will be flowing. And at least since you're not actually Hannah, there won't be so many profanities. Always the quiet ones. But anyway, we'll be signing off for now, BookTube. Thank you.
Thank you.